Before the gods, there was nothing. Not darkness, not silence, not emptiness. Nothing is too small a word for what existed. There was no sky to look up at, no ground beneath your feet, no time ticking forward. There was only chaos. Most people hear that word and think of disorder, confusion, a storm of tangled things. But the Greeks meant something far more terrifying. Chaos was not a storm. It was the absence of everything that could ever exist. And from that, somehow, the entire universe was born. This is where it all begins. Imagine standing at the edge of existence itself. No stars above you, no earth below, no air to breathe. Just an infinite, yawning void stretching in every direction forever. The ancient Greeks called this the first state of all things, and they believed it was not dead. It was waiting, because within that void something stirred. Something so primordial, so vast, it had no name for itself. It simply was. And then it moved. From chaos, the first beings did not arrive with a bang. They emerged, like shapes forming in fog. The first was Gaia, the earth herself. Not a goddess who ruled the earth, not a spirit who lived within it. She was the earth. Every stone, every root, every layer of rock stretching down into the dark. She simply appeared, solid and vast and ancient before the word ancient had meaning. And she was not alone. From the same primordial void came Tartarus, the deep abyss far beneath even the earth's roots, a place so far down, so utterly removed from light and life, that to fall into it would take 9 days and 9 nights before you hit the bottom. It was the pit beneath everything, the floor of existence. Then came Eros, not the mischievous boy with his arrows you may have heard of later. This was the first Eros, ancient, elemental, the force of attraction itself, the pull that draws things together. Without him, nothing that followed could ever have been born. And last from the void came Erebus, the deep, impenetrable darkness, and Nyx, the night. The very first darkness, the very first night, drifting through the void like a veil across the world. But here is where the story takes its first unexpected turn. Because from darkness and night came light. Erebus and Nyx were drawn together by that primordial force of Eros, that pull neither could resist. And from their union, they gave birth to 2 children. Ether, the bright golden upper air, the pure light that the gods breathe high above the clouds, and Hemera, the day. Think about that for a moment. The very first light in existence was born from the deepest darkness. Day was the daughter of night. The universe, from its very first breath, was built on contradiction. And now that the earth existed and light existed, Gaia herself began to create. She brought forth Uranus, the sky. Not a man who floated in the sky itself. Every inch of the heavens from horizon to horizon was him. He arched above her, vast and blue and endless, and for the first time in existence, there was a world. Then Gaia made the mountains, rising from her own body like bones pushing through skin. She made Pontus, the deep, churning sea, spreading across her surface, cold and dark and alive. And for the first time, there was something, from nothing, from a void with no name, from chaos itself. There was a sky, a sea, a world, and it was only the beginning. But creation is never peaceful, and the first age of the world would not be one of harmony. It would be one of hunger and violence and betrayal. Gaia looked at Uranus, at the sky she had made, and felt that pull, that ancient force. And so the earth and the sky became bound together. They were not simply side by side. Uranus pressed down upon Gaia constantly, covering her, holding her. And from their union, children were born. 12 of them, magnificent, towering beings of impossible power. The Titans. Oceanus, who became the great river encircling the world. Hyperion, blazing and bright, father of the sun and moon. Themis, who carried the weight of divine law in her hands. Mnemosyne, whose very mind held the memory of all things. Cronos, the youngest and most cunning of them all. And 7 more, each one a force of nature made flesh. But Gaia also bore stranger children. The Cyclopes, 3 beings of terrifying strength, each with a single blazing eye at the center of their forehead. And the Hecatoncheires, 3 creatures of monstrous scale, each with 100 hands and 50 heads. Giants whose very footsteps shook the young earth. Any father might have marveled at such children. Uranus was filled with dread. He looked at these creatures, these enormous, wild, unpredictable things, and felt something colder than love. He felt fear. And fear, in a being with all the power of the sky, is a dangerous thing. One by one, as Gaia's children were born, Uranus pushed them back, down, into Gaia herself, into the deep caverns within the earth. He would not let them exist in the light. He could not bear it. Gaia felt every one of them, trapped inside her, pressing against her from within. The pain was beyond measure. She was the earth itself, and her own children were imprisoned inside her. So she did what any mother pushed beyond endurance would do. She made a plan. She reached deep into her own body and drew out a substance unlike anything that existed. Grey, hard, edged like the end of all things. She shaped it into a sickle, and she went to her children still inside her, and she asked them a question. Who among you will do what must be done? One by one, the Titans looked away. The task was too terrible, their father too vast, the sky too great an enemy. All but one, Cronos, the youngest, the coldest-eyed, the one who had always watched everything with quiet, patient calculation. He reached out and took the sickle, and he waited. That night, when Uranus came to Gaia as he always did, covering her, pressing close, Cronos struck. With one terrible blow, he ended his father's dominion. Uranus reeled back across the heavens, bleeding, and from those drops of divine blood falling into the sea, new beings were born. The Furies, ancient goddesses of vengeance, rising from the pain of a father's wound. The Giants, warriors born from violence itself. And from the sea where his blood met the foam, in time, Aphrodite herself would rise. Creation born from destruction. Life born from the end of something else. The sky and earth were finally separated. The Titans were free. And Cronos, the one who had dared, became the ruler of the world. But as Uranus was dragged away across the sky, bleeding and broken, he did something with his last breath of power. He spoke. He looked at Cronos, sickle still in hand, standing over everything he had done, and he cursed him. One day, Uranus said, "One of your own children will do to you what you have done to me." Cronos laughed. He was the king of the world. He had defeated the sky itself. What child could ever threaten him? He would spend the rest of his reign making sure the answer was none. And in doing so, he would set in motion the very thing he feared most. This is how the universe began. Not with peace, not with light, with a wound, a sickle, a curse, and the unbreakable law at the heart of all things, that every power which rises will one day face the child it tried to destroy. In the next chapter of this story, the Titans take their throne. The world fills with life and fire and legend, and a child is born in secret, hidden from a father who devours his own children whole. A child who will become the most powerful being the world has ever known. His name is Zeus, and his story begins where his brothers and sisters' stories almost ended. Stay with us.